Yes, good morning and thanks for joining us at this moment. Exactly 8 a.m. Here's the news in English as proudly brought to you by Airtel, the smartphone network. And my name is Josh Buxton. Now, leading this morning, the Electoral Commission is set to conduct the election of a new chairperson for Nebbi District tomorrow, Thursday, this week, following the death of the then chairperson, Esrom William Malenyo, who passed away in September 2018. Three candidates were nominated last month, including Onyai Vicky Emmanuel from the Forum for Democratic Party, Otuba George of the Independent Fraternity, and Urombi Emmanuel of the National Resistance Movement, who have been campaigning until today when the campaigns will end. Now, a total of 856 voters were registered to participate in the election, which is going to be conducted at a total of 223 polling stations, and the commission is to spend over 742 million shillings to man the election. Addressing a news conference at the Electoral Commission head offices in Kampala, the Electoral Commission Vice Chairperson Hajat Aisha Lubega said that they have already dispatched the materials that are going to be used during the election, and in her own words, she had this to say. Aisha: Sorry, we cannot get that voice at present, but you'll get that voice in the subsequent news bulletins. Now, she warned journalists who are going to cover the elections, candidates, agents, as well as the observers to follow the laws and guidelines put in place for the smooth running of the process. Meanwhile, the Electoral Commission has also set Thursday this week to conduct the election of the interim leadership of the newly created 7 districts, which started to be operational on the 1st of July 2019, which is going to cost about 19.1 million shillings Ugandan money. The new districts include Madiokolo, Karenga, Kalaki, Kitagwenda, Kazo, Rampara, and Obongi. Hajat Aisha Lubega, the chairperson, the commission vice chairperson, said that the process is going to be electoral college through a secret ballot at the district headquarters. We shall keep you updated. And then crossing on members of parliament, for the committee of their choices, the NRM party omits the names on their interested committees where their names were read for parliament designation. This was seen with Chankwanzi District woman member of parliament Anne Maria Nankabirwa, who protested leaving out her name on the membership of the Natural Resources Committee, which is the only committee that she applied for and designated to serve on the Science and Technology Committee. In tears, she accused government chief whip Ruth Nankabirwa of a plot to bring her down, in her own words. And however, Ruth Nankabirwa Sentamu rejected the accusation, saying that the names were approved by the Central Executive Committee of the NRM party. Ruth, in her own defense, said this to say.
What I am presenting is what has gone through the State Executive Committee. Right, Honorable Speaker, there are many MPs here who have been designated on committees which were not of their first choice. I give guidance to members when they are applying to give me 3 choices, so that in case I am in the dilemma of balancing the numbers on the committee, especially these committees which are highly on demand, I want to choice number 2. Where you deliberately give me one choice and you didn't give me a second choice, I'll put you anywhere, sir. Because I'm mandated to designate you. I have designated the Honorable Anna Maria Nankabirwa on another committee, just like other members who are assigned to serve on any other committee.
Ruth Nankabirwa. Now, Ocho requested the Speaker to look into the rules and stop parties from forcing members to belong to committees that they did not apply for. The MP for West Budama, North Richard Okoth Tieno said that it's only Anne Marie Nankabira. That it's not only Anna Maria Nankabira, but there are many MPs dying silently. She said that this explains why some members of parliament choose not to attend these committees deliberately. Othieno. Now, Terego West MP Moses Sangundru, who is also the NRM party member, accused the government chief whip of favoring sub-region members to be on committees of their choice, blocking others. The Speaker of Parliament described this incident as unprecedented and promised to give a ruling on this matter. And the crossing on city lawyers Martin Kiria and Michael Aboneka have dragged government to the High Court in Kampala, seeking orders compelling it to translate the constitution into 56 local languages of the tribes of Uganda. These argue that since the constitution was made in 1995, government has unreasonably and deliberately failed in its duty to cause this translation of the constitution so that each Ugandan can get to know their rights, and that is not taught that he is not caught on the wrong side of the law. They want court to give government only 2 years within which to immediately commence or draw plans to complete the translation of the constitution. They also want government to consider the visually impaired persons and the deaf while translating the constitution. The suit has been filed through Thomas and Michael advocates and received by the court's registrar, who is yet to summon the Attorney General of Government to file his defense in 15 days. And crossing on, the State Minister for Sports, Charles Bakabulindi, has failed to convince Parliament on how much funding government has extended to the netball She Cranes team, which is representing the country at the Netball World Cup in the United Kingdom. This after the Speaker questioned why government was committing so much money on the cranes, while the netball She Cranes are going out with little attention and monies to facilitate their compensations and the competitions. Bakabulindi had taken the floor to explain circumstances surrounding the just concluded cranes participation in the African Cup of Nations that had been raised by the Member of Parliament, Alan Sewanyana. In his response, Bakabulindi noted that government has extended some funding to the She Cranes and an initial payment of 5 million Ugandan shillings had been advanced to the players. This response failed to please the legislators, who shouted at the minister to explain the exact amount of money prepared for the team, warning about a bad occurrence that had been witnessed with the male team of the Cranes on allowances. Bakabulindi in his defense. That was the situation at Parliament as Bakabulindi tried to explain and defend himself. And then crossing on, the wildlife conservation and tourism fraternity in Uganda have received a great boost. This follows the assent to the Uganda Wildlife Bill of 2017 by President Yoweri Museveni into a law. The Commissioner of Wildlife Conservation in the Ministry of Tourism, Dr. Akankwansa Barirega, says that the new Ugandan Wildlife Act of 2019 comes with significant reforms which will enhance the country's wildlife conservation efforts. These include tough penalties for anyone engaged in wildlife crime involving endangered species, with a life sentence and fine of about 20 billion Ugandan shillings, both introduced And the crossing on the Speaker of Parliament, Rebecca Kadaga, wants government to come up with an official position on which individuals should be brought to Parliament to lie in state and for special sittings. The Speaker says that her name has been tainted with a bad image, as some deceased senior citizens are accorded state funerals, where others are not, and sometimes only lie in state with no debate. Her remarks come at a time when Parliament received the body of the late Edward Lorika Othio, or rather Athio, who was allowed to lie in state but had no special sittings accorded to him. The late Peter Nyombi was also accorded the same partial treatment, which some sections of the public criticized. Now, Kadaga says that such failures occasioned by government need to be brought to an end by generating an official position that shall always be followed by Parliament. She said this as she presided over yesterday's plenary sitting at Parliament. In her own words.
So that people who come to this hospital can be people. And when people are running, that's people keep on running. And think that in taking the Israel ground, it takes 1 billion to purchase 46 capacity personnel as soon as they can.
Now, still in Parliament's coffers, the Committee on Commission, Statutory Authority and State Enterprises has set up a 7-member subcommittee to investigate allegations that some Indians acquired properties of the departed Asians in a fraudulent manner. The committee was set up as the committee chaired by Kawempe South MP Mubarak Mujagwa and his vice chairperson Ibrahim Kasozi were interacting with officials from the custodian board led by the executive secretary John William Bintubizibu. The MPs on the committee alleged that the owners of some of the properties were compensated by government, but it is surprising that government is still paying rent on these same properties. The members of parliament, including Donozio Kahonda, Gideon Onyango, and Ibrahim Kasozi, tasked the custodian body to explain criteria where one person has over 100 properties in Kololo, Old Kampala, Namirembe Road, Kawempe, Bukoto, Kololo Hill Drive, and other areas, and noted that there is need to have an explanation on how one person acquired all these properties. The members of parliament further questioned the powers of the attorney general used to acquire these properties, and some noted that there is need to invite these people to explain some of these allegations, with Gideon calling for the setup of this subcommittee. The executive secretary Bintubizibu George William informed the committee that all the issues the members of parliament were raising were actually correct. Bintubizibu in his own words. Now, this prompted the chairperson, Mubarak Mnyagwa, to set up this committee led by Ibrahim Kasozi, Mohamed Nserako, Nathan Itungo Tresije, Stella Kizer, Paul Miru, Gideon Nyango, and Donizio Kahonda.
Anange ngasirikiria chichi naye ngasirikiria mwana sirikiria mwana.
Now, the Parliament Committee on Human Rights yesterday resolved to have a joint meeting with the officials from the Judiciary Department, the National Association of Broadcaster Executives, leaders of police and the army, Uganda Communications Commission, and the Uganda Journalists Association Executive to get solutions on how they can overcome the problem of violation of journalists' rights. This was reached at when the Uganda Journalist Association Executive had appeared before the above committee, which is headed by the Buvuma woman Member of Parliament Jennifer Nantime, to furnish them with some of the violations they face while doing their work of journalism, and also to give the committee their views on how they think media rights can be promoted and protected. During their presentation at the committee, the Uganda Journalists Association Secretary for Human Rights and Media Safety, Mukose Arnold, told the committee that their employers violate their economic rights by paying them very poorly, which is contrary to the Article 40 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda. Mukose also revealed that the media freedom of expression is violated by both the police, the army, judiciary, and the commission and the Uganda Communications Commission, which is contrary to the Constitution, just because Article 29 provides freedoms and rights of association, expression, and assembly, including press and media, and it is still hardly for the journalists to enjoy these rights when doing their work. And so he asked the committee to intervene and talk to the violators to stop it, which prompted the committee chair to say that they will organize a joint meeting to solve all those issues.
You are still listening to the English News Bulletin of Eastern Voice Radio.
Brought to you by Airtel Money, the convenient way, less confused. Dial star 185 star 6 hash. Select school fees paid. Complete the transaction. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Yes, you come out. What's that?
Yes, indeed, Airtel, the smartphone network. This is the smartphone network giving you a very good experience. And then we cross onto the international scene. We drop to America. Now, the UK's work ambassador to the United States is a very stupid guy. Donald Trump said that amid a row of leaked emails. This came after Downing Street reaffirmed its full support for Sir Kim Darroch. On Sunday, emails revealed that the ambassador had called the Trump administration clumsy and inept. Sir Kim will now no longer meet the president's daughter Ivanka Trump as scheduled today. Trump tweeted saying that the work ambassador that the United Kingdom foisted upon the United States is not someone we are thrilled with. He is a very stupid guy. He should speak to his country and the Prime Minister May about their failed Brexit.